The four
Four
agreements.
agreements.
The 4 agreements.
So one of the 4 agreements is don't take things personally. And it is, to me, the hardest one.
Right.
Because I take everything personally. I'm like, literally, I was like, that person put a mask. This is like a literal conversation. I was like, that person put a mask on in front of me. Like, they must think that I have some horrible disease. And that's why they put a mask on in front of me. And then I was like, or maybe I'm just taking it personally and I shouldn't. But, you know, we spend so much time projecting our shit onto other people and then
Right.
taking it all personally. And imagine it speaks in the book about, you know, somebody could punch you in the face and you need to just let them be like, that's not about me, that's all on you.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't know about that. They're
Yeah.
catching the hands real quick. I don't know. I mean, unless I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to and they needed to do that, that's one thing. But like just out of nowhere, I was like, nah, man, I'm going to have to like give you an equal
Eye for an eye.
face. An eye for an eye, which leaves the whole world blind. And that's where we're at. It's like, oh, well, you this, and I'm going to make you pay. And that's the only way that we can level the playing field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think that's super important. And I think that's been something that's always kind of helped me through life is not taking things so personal at times. And I think for me, it comes from, we've talked about in this podcast a lot about being judgmental. And I don't like when people are judgmental towards others.
Right.
So I think that's maybe why it's helped me through that. Because, you know, I really dislike when people are judgmental because I'm one that, you know, I live by that saying, you know, I try not to judge someone because they sin differently than you do. And obviously there's levels to shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's levels to that, you know.
Of course.
But
of course,
on the grand scheme of things, that's just how I try to live by. You know, obviously there's the extremely highs, right? That obviously there's just those type of things that we don't forgive, or, you know, we obviously can judge them. But I'm talking on the grand scheme of things. I'm typically like, you know what? Don't judge someone because they sin differently than you do. And I think when you really think like that, it helps. And when people do things like that, like you said, oh, the punch in the face, it's like sometimes we just judge them on that versus trying to understand them.
Well, that's such a big piece, right? We spend so much time, as I interrupt you, we spend so much time. We spend so much time listening to reply, not listening to listen, right?
Exactly. Right. And I think me being very like also introverted a lot of my life, I think maybe it's been a little bit easier because I've always been more of a listener. So after just listening to so much and hearing so many other people, it's like, how can you judge, you know?